Hey guys, Bix Weir, road2ruda.com with your update from the greenhouse. As you can see, my pole beans, I'm a professional pole bean grower. That's pretty much the only thing that's turning out. No, it's not. It's not the only thing. A couple things worked, a couple things didn't. It's cold today in Oakland, in California, Northern California, and I know a lot of you. I get a lot of emails saying, "What are you doing in California?" My God, um, they're just dumb. People in California are just dumb. They, I was at this new meditation thing I'm doing. I was at a group meditation last night with my wife, and there was a woman sitting to our right next to us saying, "Oh my God, I can't handle all the stress of the political situation." Oh my God, I was just praying that it didn't escalate into somebody raising. I was in the middle of Berkeley, raising their hand, saying, "Is there anybody in here who supports Trump and what he's doing?" I would have jumped up and said, "Yeah, I'm ready for the fight. Bring it on." In a meditation class, that's not the greatest thing. I just let it go. Nobody even raised an eyebrow about, what does that mean, the political situation. I can tell this woman really wanted to talk about it. But the instructor was great. He goes, "All right, everybody take a deep breath. We all have different stresses." But the meditation was great. It was a 4-day course, a couple hours a day, and it works for me. How's that? Meditation isn't for everybody, but I was doing transcendental meditation, TM, really easy form of meditation, working with your mantra. And a lot of people have problems meditating because all these thoughts come into their head. But it's the idea of meditation is to bubble up these thoughts, get them out there, and relieve the stress that's inside of you, because clearly they were inside you at one point. So really interesting stuff. Meditation. I plan on doing it a couple times a day for as long as I can, as long as I need to, as long as it feels good. And right now it feels great. So that's what I'm gonna do. In the mornings, I'm gonna have to cut down on the coffee unless I do my meditation before the Horn of Z's. So just an FYI, it's kind of hard to do deep meditation when you're jacked up on caffeine. But today I want to talk about the state of the road to Ruda. Where are we on this damn road to Ruda? Where are the good guys taking us? What are they trying to do? I've long talked about how there's a faction of the good guys who want a smooth transition out of the old system and into new. I was always the one saying, no, we can't do that. That's the problem. That's why this unbacked fiat monetary system run by the bad guys has been in power for so long. Is everybody's afraid of that transition out of the old system because millions would die. And it is probably true that millions will die. And that's just a fact of how they've set up the system, how we've waited so long. It's kind of impossible to destroy the old system and put in something new. I thought it was impossible, but they're trying to do it. And it is clear to me they're trying to do it with the cryptocurrencies, building a parallel economic system side by side with our current system. There are currently companies being formed that deal with banking, with advertising, with invoicing, with accounting, with documentation, you name it. There, social media. There is a blockchain related company or companies that are being built and started and worked on. Truthfully, this has been going on for a couple of years now. So a lot of these ICOs that come out, you think, it's just a scam, a Ponzi scheme. They always love to say. No, these are some of them are actual real companies with great ideas, amazing ideas related to blockchain technology. And I'm real excited about some of them. A lot of them are crap, yeah. So what? During the dot-com days, there were a lot of crap companies. But there was also your Facebooks and your Amazons. We've talked about this a million times. So that's what's going on the road to Ruda, and that's why I think it is very safe to be in the cryptocurrencies, because they're being protected and supported by the good guys who are trying to create a smooth transition out of the old system into something new, into a high-tech society. If you think about technology and computers especially, computers have pretty much taken over every part of our lives except the monetary system. We're still on the old school monetary system going back since the creation of the Federal Reserve. That is going to change now. So anybody resisting this change shouldn't be resisting. It's like resisting email when in lieu of postal letters. Sure, it took a while. If you remember the World Wide Web when it first started in 1990, all kinds of talk about, oh, this is just a tool for criminals and really dark markets and bad things to happen. Same thing as they're saying with the cryptocurrencies. But there was a ruling today by the SEC on the DAO collapse, whether or not it's a security. They said, yes, the DAO should have been classified as a security. Are they going after the people who started up and sold the DAO not as a security, not going through those security laws? No, they're not going after them. And it's a framework for companies now. At least they have some rules that they can either abide by or not participate in the United States. Remember, these are the United States' rules. These are not the rules of the world. The SEC cannot lay down the law for the world. And countries that are more lenient towards this type of financing for these new companies are going to do better than the United States. We're shooting ourselves in the foot if we're not allowing our citizens to participate in these new companies that are being built. And that's why they're not going after anybody about these ICOs being securities. And they really do. Some of them really do bridge that gap. What is a security? The SEC has not ruled on it, so there's nothing the SEC could have done. The rules at the SEC are enforce the law, not the potential law in the future. So this adds more clarification to what they see a security is and what one isn't. A lot of the companies are kind of looking towards, okay, I can fit within any of these rules, or okay, I won't offer these securities to anybody in the United States, which just screws us as a country, as investors in startup companies. We can't participate, or it'll be difficult to participate. I don't think they would ever go after an individual who participated in something that was SEC mandated as, oh, you got to go through the rules and regulations. But they might. Usually they go after the people who sell the securities, not the customers who feel they've been duped. And it's only the customers that lose money and lose everything they had that go back and file a lawsuit and say, well, why wasn't the SEC there to protect me from myself? And that gets back to a topic I've been thinking about a lot, and I actually went into some of my old textbooks from college on the philosophy of John Locke. John Locke was all about the natural rights of human beings and humanity. And natural rights meaning the right, and the founding fathers were all about John Locke. Natural rights meaning the rights that you are born with. No, you're not born with the right for health care or anything like that. That's ridiculous. All that means is, somebody else is going to hold a gun to a doctor and say you have to work for free because everybody has the right to health care, or everybody has to pay because everybody has a right to health care. No, that's not part of a natural law that we are born with. So anybody fighting that fight for all the free stuff that our government gives out, ask them who's going to pay. Why should a doctor pay work for free and be required to work for free? What are you doing to that doctor's natural rights? And natural rights are life, according to John Locke, life, liberty, and I wrote them down: life, liberty, and property. And it sounds a lot like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness kind of covered the ability to use your property as you wish. It's yours. And that all stems from, I wrote a couple things down. The natural right of life is that you own your body when you're born, and you can do what you please, and no one may force you to do anything. And no one may injure you or kill you. And that's pretty much, that's your right. You're created on this earth, and that is a natural right. That should be absolutely protected, the right to life. You came here for a reason, to do something, or to live a certain way, or you were created out of the ether, or however you want to think about it, but you should have a right to do as you wish, as long as you don't infringe upon other people's natural rights. Which gets to liberty, and liberty is freedom from any superior power, or from any power on earth. You do what you want as long as you don't trample on other people's natural rights. Government was not implemented, according to our founding fathers, to destroy these natural rights. And that's exactly what we're doing now. Our government has been distorted in the United States, at least, and most governments around the world. And they're absolutely limiting our liberty and our freedom to do and act as we please. Leave us alone and we'll take responsibility for ourselves. We don't want a nanny state. We don't want the government to take responsibility for us because we don't trust them. These are people behind the government, and they will do what's in the best interest of getting themselves elected again and money and voted and things like that. They are usurping our natural rights by forcing us to do certain things. Now, the third one, natural right, is the right to property. And in order to support yourself, you must be able to own and use the product of your labor. That makes sense. In order to protect your freedom and your life and to support yourself in living, you should be able to own and use the product of your labor. That makes sense. There's no slavery. That is a natural requirement. If the tools of your survival are subject to random confiscation, then your life is subject to random destruction. That's John Law. Those were his three natural rights, and he wrote them in the late 1600s in his treatise, two treatises it's called. I'm not sure what a treatise is, but I would say it's a statement or a book about how, it's a philosophy book about how there is a need for government. And he also talks about governments are needed to protect natural rights. The purpose of government, and this is what our founding fathers wrote into our Constitution, the purpose of government was to protect our rights, protect our freedom, and protect our liberty, everybody's, and not to infringe upon it. But in order to do that, you're going to have to give up a little bit of that freedom and liberty. John Locke called it a social compact. Give up some of their freedom in exchange for protection and security of your natural rights. So there are consequences if somebody infringes upon your natural rights. Without that, they call it, I think, a natural state, whereas all you end up is with war because one person might want to infringe upon everybody's natural rights. So governments are implemented. We do give up some of our freedoms for government, but they're limited, and they were limited in the Constitution. The limits are pretty much gone now, and our government, a great example is the SEC ruling on all these ICOs that they're claiming some of them are securities that are being offered. And that goes down all the rules and regulations within government. So all this stuff that's going on right now, the amazing thing is people are coming to me and saying, oh, cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, it's going to be the mark of the beast. They just want us in an electronic system so that they can take full control and full charge. And the CIA's in there and the NSA's in there, and they're all supporting it, and they probably created it to put the mark of the beast on our forehead. This battle will go on whether or not there is Bitcoin or gold or silver. The battle for our freedom needs to be earned. Unfortunately, we're born with it, but we gotta fight for it to hold on to it. You can say that the cryptocurrencies would be a useful tool for if bad people controlled it and the bad guys had their way to use that technology against the freedom of humanity, and that is a possibility. The other possibility is we use that technology to support the freedom of humanity, to end the tyranny of government that is upon us now, because the blockchain technology is open and honest and can be used for good or for bad. And I am fighting, and I know a lot of people who I talk to within the crypto space are fighting for the good side, the good part of the blockchain and cryptocurrencies, to destroy, or not even destroy, eliminate the parts of government that we don't need or don't want to infringe upon our three natural rights: the right of life, the right of liberty, and the right of property. And blockchain technology can do just that. It can get rid of the DTCC. It can get rid of so many parts of government. We can go from a government that currently in the United States that currently employs, I think it's 35 million people directly or indirectly, to a very, very small government by introducing the truth and honesty of a blockchain into so much of what government does, as far as registration of assets or tracking of people and places and transactions and everything. Almost everything can be replaced by blockchain technology, which is a truth machine. And that's really what we're replacing. We're replacing government corruption and government ineptitude with truth and honesty and new technology. We are moving into a technological society. We aren't there yet. I mean, the internet only came out, 27 years ago. The World Wide Web was the white paper was introduced in 1989. It went active in 1990, and here we are in 2017, and we are just barely scratching the edge of what a technological world will be like and feel like, and we can move into a technological world of honesty and trust, and when I say it's a trustless system. That's what blockchain is. It's trustless. You don't have to trust anybody because it's all mathematical equations that are proven and it's visible to everybody. And it's the law of math. And it's hard to mess with 2 + 2 = 4. You can, philosophically, and I'm sure higher math guys will say, well, it doesn't always equal 4. But that's what we're talking about is replacing trust in other human beings and third parties with trust in a open and honest system that everybody can see who participates in that network. Really interesting times, and it's not easy to first get your hands around and head around. Like guys like Chris Dwayne probably will never get their head around it. Although he knows we're fighting for the same thing, to take government out of our lives. He wants to use silver as the silver shield and a silver sword and all that stuff, and a lot of people are saying, well, that really won't work that well because humanity doesn't have enough silver and we need it for other things technologically. And gold, I think there's too much gold, but it is not a viable way to go forward. We are moving into a technological society. I can now buy things with my cell phone. It's so much easier than first getting some gold, finding some gold somewhere. Does Chris Dwayne expect the government to give us gold and silver? I hope not, because our government doesn't work that way. But with the cryptocurrencies, you can get it on your phone. You can buy it now. I would suggest to everybody buy it now. Although the good guys, as I call them, are working to build out this system in parallel with our current system, so it won't be that hard of a jump to go from here to here. The old way of doing things to something new. And yes, there will be disruptions, and I'm sure people will die in the disruption. But that's why the bad guys have held on to control for so long. It's that transition. The United States has been afraid of the transition. Not only afraid, they were right. Millions of people would have died, probably hundreds of millions, if it was just gold and silver that was available to move over to. Because we don't have any. There isn't much. And it would be too disruptive, and people aren't, you're going to have to train every single person on what to use as money next, because we're used to using the same old system. And would it be easier to train people on the ability to use and transact business with cryptocurrencies on your cell phone? Many people do it already with credit cards and Apple Pay and all that. Or would it, would you train the world? Oh, you have to be on a gold and silver standard. That's the only thing in history that's lasted. Well, there was never an alternative, and now there is. So I think it'll be much easier to train humanity to accept, not even training them to accept, what's going to be easier for humanity to use as money going forward as the old system dies. I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and the tokens and the companies being built around the blockchain will continue to do very well going into the next 3 or 4 years, and apparently by 2020, I think it will be fully understood that the old system is dying and a new system is being born, and it'll still be the early days in 2020. It's still early days today. Even I have my doubts sometimes, like when Veritasium was slammed in the middle of the night with computer programs. I'm like, oh my God, they're doing the same thing to Veritasium. But yeah, that's the life, the world we live in. It's the wild, wild west of the cryptocurrencies. The good thing about the cryptos is you don't have that monster derivative market, criminal derivative market, and most of these exchanges that will be growing up in the future. They aren't there now, but they will be based off blockchain technology, provable, reliable. Veritasium is setting up the Jamaican Stock Exchange right now in a decentralized blockchain style where every transaction is approved and every transaction is visible so that you know when you go to your Schwab account and you buy this certain stock, well, it's not Schwab, but down there it's probably your reefer account, and you buy a certain stock, you know you're going to actually get that stock, and the transaction's right there and provable. Whereas today in the United States, Charles Schwab does not go out and buy your stock and put it in your name. Not even close. They mark your account on their ledger that you have a stock. They don't buy it. Not a chance. 100 million shares every day, over 100 million. I think it was 300 million go failure to deliver. Failure to deliver means there's no contract signed. There's no change of ownership. They don't buy your stock. They put it in a pool. And the pool's great as long as there's enough shares and the music keeps playing. But they use those shares and they rehypothecate everything. And when only a couple people pull their shares out or sell their shares or certificate their shares, that's fine because they can go out and buy the share and give it to here. So, oh, yeah, that's the transaction you did. Usually it's people selling for cash, and they got plenty of that. But when there's question in the market, like it happened in 2008, people will go in and say, I want my shares out, and I want ownership of this company. If I don't want to sell it, I want to be sure that you're holding them for me in my name, and you're not. They're not. None of them are. So it is a big Ponzi scheme. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting as this transition happens. You know, when will silver be released from manipulation? I think it'll be slowly released starting now. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon and those guys clearly know what the U.S. Treasury plans to do because they are an arm of the U.S. Treasury. That they claim that in a court case with Blanchard that they can't be sued because they work for the U.S. government. But what has J.P. Morgan been doing? One, they've been getting rid of their COMEX short. It is a provable fact. They're getting rid of their COMEX short, that monster short they inherited from Bear Stearns. Number two, they're stockpiling physical silver in the amount of, Ted Butler says it's over 600 million ounces. I would guess by now it's close to 1 billion ounces of silver, which is a lot in the silver market. That's not a lot in the gold market because all the secret gold. There's not a lot of secret silver. And I've shown that in many videos. Go to my video about the silver held at, the Y12 facility in Oak Ridge, Tennessee for the Manhattan Project. They had to shut down that whole facility in the early 1990s just to get physical silver. There was about 3 billion ounces of silver being used there. So they shut down the whole facility. So that's where that secret silver, all that physical silver that everybody says, oh my God, they're going to run out of silver. Well, they were going to run out in the early 90s. And then they shut down the facility. They pulled all the silver out of there. And it's proven in the export data for silver. I've proven it 100 times. But that silver should be running out now. Remember, silver is consumed. It's consumed in every cell phone, laptop, flat screen TV. They're never going to get that. Even at $1,000 silver, people aren't going to rush into the landfills and try to extract 1/100 of an ounce of silver out of their, iPad. Nobody knows exactly how much silver is. Silver is used as, it's the best conductor of electricity, so it's used as like soldering for almost everything, computer related, because it is more efficient. And so, but it's used in such tiny amounts, teeny tiny amounts. It's really exciting for the silver owners and silver market. And the best thing silver lovers should be thinking right now is, let's go crypto. Let's go crypto. Come on, silver people, say it with me. Let's go crypto for 2 reasons. First reason is crypto investors know what's going on as far as the monetary system. They've chosen cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and things like that. They've chosen that way to protect themselves from the old system. Bravo, and they're being rewarded accordingly. And they will continue to be rewarded accordingly. But they also know about the unbacked fiat system and the evilness of the bankers. And they also know that silver is another way to kill the bankers. So yes, they'll be taking their crypto billions and buying some silver, just even to hedge their own understanding of the monetary system collapsing. Because silver will be running sky high too. And they know, hey, they got in Bitcoin when it was just an idea. And now it's developing into a whole economy. So the idea of silver is still there, and that's gonna, when the suppression ends, that's gonna run like you would not believe, amazingly. And so crypto lovers are gonna be buying silver, physical silver, but also the cryptocurrencies, the crypto companies, the blockchain technology can also replace the COMEX and the LBMA, those criminal exchanges, with truth and honesty. That's where Veritasium comes in. And when they are successful in Jamaica, which I believe they will be, they're talking to another one of the top 10 exchanges in the world about introducing a decentralized blockchain technology into that exchange. When these successes happen over and over again, humanity, people within the United States, are going to be, if you set up a COMEX decentralized blockchain type solution like Veritasium right next to the old criminal system, you're going to see all the criminals stay over in the old system and everybody looking to really hedge their silver positions and buy silver and things like that over here on the decentralized application. You saw it at the LBMA when they were rigging the silver price so low, ridiculous. A lot of the players at the LBMA said, screw this, we got to find another place. And there hasn't been really another place for silver. So very exciting things for Veritasium. It's still hard to get. They're not going to put it on. I don't think they'll put it on one of the major exchanges because it might remove that exchange. It might take the place of that exchange. So they're trying to they're trying to hide it. They're definitely trying to manipulate it. But as far as the cryptos and the things that I invest in, I'm investing in the future. This new high-tech world we're moving into, one is based on honesty and truthful dealings. Amazing. If the good guys, this portion of the good guys pulls this off and it actually fully develops and is implemented, it's being implemented right now, if it's successful before the old system collapses, it will save hundreds of millions of lives. Because if the old system collapses, there's nothing in place, you're going to have no water, no food, no electricity, no power, no internet. That's how big a deal it is, and that's why the bad guys have not been taken out. Anyway, this is your treatsy from Bix. Don't forget to go to roadtoruda.com. Sign up for the free emails. You get a free book, Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God. Also, if you sign up for the private road, I'm still sending out $30 in hard copy paper Veritasium to your front door. Very exciting, and you can go to the website, and there's a subscription section that you can sign up for that. And also, starting probably next month, I will be giving away the Road to Ruda silver coins that are all numbered and the best looking coin you'll ever find, with all kinds of secret things on the front of the coin, including the cave in the Grand Canyon. But that'll be probably next month when I get the coins. They're all being packaged up, and they're in plastic cases, and then a box on top, and stick a bow on it. But they're really cool coins, and those of you who love silver are going to love that coin too. Probably August timeframe. Anyway, this is Bix Weir. We'll talk to you later.